Morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to the weekend report for July 7th, 2023. We're officially our first weekend to the second half of the year. If it was a short work week for you due to the 4th of July holiday, I hope you had a really good time. Got to see some good fireworks. I went to Gunnison, Colorado. They have a really good display there. So if you ever want to change things up, head down south. It's quick, easy drive down there, and a good show. It hasn't disappointed. Done that twice out of the last 3 years. So let's talk about what happened this week. Everything, it's all about the jobs report. I'm going to start with a few slides for you, and we're going to start with the ADP report. It came out first, and it was a blockbuster. It showed 497,000 job creations. That beat expectations almost by double. So it was a big surprise, we'll put it that way. If you see the breakdown of job creations based on company size, small companies made up 299,000. So this is less than 49 employees for an employer. So we're kind of mom and pop store here is what we're talking about. Mid-sized companies make up 183,000, and large companies actually declined by 8,000. And this doesn't surprise me because we've heard the large companies saying that they were not going to create new jobs, that they were going to basically kind of slow that down, that pace down, and maybe cut back hours versus laying people off. So interesting that we see the decrease in the large companies, which is consistent with what we've been hearing from them. Now, later in the week, we got the jobless claims. That was up 248,000 week over week, just a little bit higher than the week previous. And the initial or continuing claims continues to remain pretty consistent, overall 1.7 million people. You can see where the largest filings are. California making up the largest number of continuing claims at 45,000. So just a little note there, just to show who's leading in terms of unemployment there. In filing claims. If we go into today, we got the BLS jobs report. And I don't know if you've noticed month over month, there's been a lot of discrepancy between the AD report and the BLS reports. They are not really in line with one another. The BLS jobs report showed 209,000 job creations versus the estimates of 240,000. So it came in lower than expectation, but that's a big difference from the ADP number 497. So interesting to see the difference consistently between these two reports month over month. Now, there were revisions down of 110,000 jobs over the past 2 months. And then the birth death rate. This is the creation of new companies versus those that have closed down. There was an increase, 26,000. Now, within this report, what made up the majority of those job creations? 21,000 came from leisure and hospitality. It was up 21,000. Government were up 60,000, and then healthcare and education, 73,000. That was a big number there for them. We've seen a lot coming from leisure and hospitality. So interesting to see that leisure and hospitality is kind of leveled out a little bit, which is kind of what we expected because we are now at job creations that are consistent with pre-pandemic levels. So healthcare and education now making up the predominant job creations. Now, also within this report, we get earnings, and we saw that average hourly earnings were up 0.4% month over month, but flat year over year. Average hours worked weekly ticked up 0.1%, 0.1 of an hour, basically. 34.4 hours worked in a regular work week versus 34.3. And then average weekly earnings up 0.7% month over month. And it actually went from 3.5% to 3.7% year over year. So positive improvement there in earnings. Now, also within the BLS report, you get the unemployment number, and this is from the household survey. And per the household survey, they showed 273,000 job creations. Now, the headline unemployment number shows that it went down from 3.7% to 3.6%. But if you look at the U6, which is basically the all-in unemployment number, because this takes into account part-time work as well, it went from 6.7% up to 6.9%. So it showed unemployment going up. Now, within this report, you'll see that multiple job holders, over 233,000, people holding down multiple jobs at this point. 452,000 went, started into part-time for economic reasons. So maybe they're financially strapped because of credit card debt or something to that effect. But we saw a lot of people moving in for additional part-time work. And then those people that could only find part-time work as opposed to full-time, that was reported at 122,000. So that's where we're at in terms of the jobs reports. Now, I always report to you mortgage applications as well, because I want you to see what kind of activity is out there. And mortgage apps were down 5% for purchases week over week and down 4% for refis week over week. But this is not surprising when you look at the numbers in the market and what we've been going through for the last week. These jobs reports had a big impact on us. And if you see today, right now, we're up 17 basis points, which is good. It's reacting favorably to the BLS report. But yesterday, we had a monumental move down because of the ADP report. There were, I think it was somewhere on 80 basis points down for the day. We did recover quite a bit of it, but nonetheless, it was a hard day in the market. Interest rates clearly going up at this point. So hopefully today we'll get some traction back and see some positive gains in the interest rates today. We'll see. If you have any questions, please do reach out to me. Be happy to answer any questions that you have. Feel free to like, share, comment to any of my videos. I do appreciate that. As basically a small business owner, I drive my business from my exposure and people referring my business. So I do appreciate those referrals and opportunities to help family, friends, coworkers, anybody that you have in mind that might need to refinance or purchase. Happy to help. Otherwise, have a great weekend. I will see you next week.